baby requires more iron than an average adult male between the ages of 6 to 12 months. So that's why those iron-rich foods.
Wow.
Yeah.
Welcome to Fika's Focus. Voices leading change.
Kia ora. We are here with Fiona from Mother Nurtured, and we've just been talking about some really cool stuff. I think, first of all, thank you. We you messaged us, and then we're like, wow, cool, this is a really good synergy, especially with what we're going through right now in terms of our kind of ability to try to revamp what we're putting into children. Although we've always had pretty high quality food, we're trying to level up. We've partnered with Simply Organic for a starter, which takes the pressure off families having to go out and feel like they've got to get organic food into there. And we're just doing fruit and veggies at the moment, but it's still, the quality is just...
Love that. Yeah.
Yeah, the oranges are like another level.
You notice the difference, don't you? Yeah. And you're eliminating the heavily sprayed pesticides, chemicals.
And we learned so much. Yeah. Mate, we learnt so much. Like, him showing us, like, see all the blemishes on the fruit? That's because it's being attacked because it's so nutritious. Like, because people things are trying to get.
Want it.
Yeah, they want it. That's what you want to look for. But I think we're on this cool kind of journey. And so, just to give us some, the team, some background around what it is we're doing. Like we said, for many of our children, we're putting 75% of their meals into them in the week, and that is a huge responsibility. But when I saw your guys' website, and Sophie from Livingston and I were really going through it, and we thought your website's so well laid out, the information is accessible. And so we want to really thank you for getting in touch, and it's cool to have a yarn to you today.
Thank you.
So tell us about Mother Nurtured.
Yes, so Mother Nurtured is my business. I am a certified nutrition consultant, and I specialise in nutrition for 3 stages of motherhood, really. So you've got your pregnancy, your postpartum journey, and then starting solids. So that's really aimed at parents, helping them introduce solids, knowing those signs of readiness, navigating those commonly experienced starting solids concerns like constipation, your eczema, your food sensitivities, and just making sure that we're helping baby achieve those key essential nutrients that are required for growth and development, and also behaviour issues. So it's really important that we help meet those nutrient requirements, but equally don't feel the pressure to always have every meal meeting those nutritional needs. So it is a balance, but it's just educating parents on what are those best food sources to get those nutrients from.
So let's just come back to that pressure, because I think that's one we've got to openly address. I know ourselves as parents, you know, you feel bad if you're having to run into Macca's because you've been both at work all day and you're just trying to get some food in. But it is the pressure of providing strong nutritional kai, and not, pandering to just the beige brigade or all that sort of stuff. Can we just talk to the pressure there? Where is that coming from as a parent in that space with food? Because you talk about the psychology of it. Yeah,
I mean, it's a lot of it's probably generational. We probably grew up. I know myself, for example, I grew up with the whole eat your dinner, then you can get your treats, or eat your dinner and then we can watch TV, or just one more food, sit down, eat your dinner. There was a lot of pressure, but what we did there is we failed to really listen to the child. Every child, every baby has an innate understanding of what they truly need, and they also as a parent, we don't respect their signs of fullness. If they are done with a meal, it is really important that we respect that and not push it, because only they know what's going on in their body, how they feel. So that pressure is probably coming from, it could be a number of things. It could be social media pressure. It could be, there's a lot of comparison as a parent. We compare to what our, some of our friends in our mothers groups and how their baby's eating, or, you've seen something where a baby is eating a beautifully balanced meal, but your baby won't even touch that food. So there's a lot of pressure to fulfill those nutrient needs. But I think it just comes from really trying to respect what our roles and responsibilities are when it comes to food. So with a baby, their role when it comes to food is to decide how much and what to eat from that plate. But as a parent, our role is to really lie into the notion that our role is to only just provide healthy and varied food options. And then when we accept those roles and responsibilities, it actually energetically and magically does take that pressure off. You could just literally walk into your meal and go, right, I've prepared some broccoli, some chicken, some mashed potato. I'm going to put this in front of my child. here you go, and they pick up on everything. They are so, if they pick up on your anxiousness or you're just pressurely, waiting there, making sure they're going to eat that food, they pick up on that. So your role is to be like, here's dinner, we're going to sit down as a family and try and eat it. And if they don't eat it, and if all they do is play with it or engage with it, that's still, I would still see that as a positive sign in building that trust and that familiarity with food.
So let's just talk to your stages. So you've got pregnancy. So what is the relationship there? Because it's a very, and it's cool to hear you talking about that, because actually when they're in the body, this is a living, organism that needs deep nutritional value. What's involved in that stage for you?
Yeah. So, I mean, when you're pregnant, there is a huge list of essential nutrients required, not just for yourself as a mother carrying the baby, but it's essential for baby's growth and development. So baby will take a lot of nutrients, and it'll first and foremost go to baby, and then a mother can start feeling a lot of those commonly experienced pregnancy conditions like low energy, low fatigue, constipation. There's so many pregnancy conditions that I deal with clients when we're navigating pregnancy nutrition. They come to me just wanting to feel their best in pregnancy, not realizing that they really need to be making sure that because maternal diet affects baby, and that goes on in each stage of your motherhood journey. In postpartum, especially when you're a breastfeeding mother, your maternal diet affects the quality and quantity of your breast milk, which in turn affects how many nutrients your baby is getting. Right. So I guess with pregnancy, it's really important that we maintain those nutrients just for optimal growth and development with baby.
And then for the so postpartum, so we're coming in, obviously breastfeeding is always recommended and is in that space, but then we get to that point. What's your stage look like there postpartum?
Yeah, so a postpartum mother will one of the key reasons a postpartum mother will come to see me is they are feeling absolutely flawed. They energy wise, I mean, they're breastfeeding round the clock and they're feeling depleted, and that's because baby is taking everything from your breast milk, which in turn is then taking everything from you as a mother. Right. So it's really important. I maternal diet, and a lot of mums will come to me saying, my supply is getting low, what can I do? And there's a lot we can do from food nutrition to help increase milk supply and also improve the quality of milk supply and get a lot of probiotic benefits from breast milk. Breast milk is live. It actively changes its state to where your baby is in life. If it's feeling sick, it'll increase its immunoprotective compounds, so that baby has essentially got all the goodness coming from breast milk to help heal their sick body if they were to be unwell.
It's actually
crazy.
It's almost a super feel.
And this is why one of the reasons why we recommend a postpartum mother to continue taking a prenatal supplement. And supplements are by no means there to replace a varied well diet. Yeah. They are there to supplement your diet. But nutritional needs are so high, and it's really important that we help baby achieve all those key nutrients. And mum really should be taking a prenatal supplement up until she stops breastfeeding. That is the recommendation.
Right. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, and so then we go into, you've got them there. You've done the breastfeeding, but now they're starting to experiment and they're interested in food.
Yes,
and it's actually like, and so the correlation with us is we generally see children in that 6-month window post there, and we don't have a lot of children that still are breastfeeding at that point if they've come into us. And it is an experimental phase, and for us, we're really proud to see. We have, like yesterday, it was a pasta, like a creamed pasta dish with mushroom and some cheese and, obviously the pasta. But then we had cut up cucumber. There was some hummus, and it was cool to walk in and see these kids. Oh, and broccoli, and it's cool to walk in and see these kids like literally chowing down on cucumbers, broccoli with hummus.
Yep.
But just and then the oranges and things in the afternoon tea. It's actually quite phenomenal to see the dishes served up with lots of colours and just an opportunity to have a go at these things.
And I think there's two things I want to say to that. So A, you essentially served the rainbow. So there's this thing about that we speak about in nutrition, and it's called eat the rainbow. So every color food represents a different nutrient and therefore provides a different benefit to the body. So eating the rainbow is the best way to make sure that we're getting all our nutrients in, or at least a varied amount of nutrients in. So the fact that you served, your beige pasta, but it was pimped out with a beautiful creamy mushroom sauce. So you've got your vitamin D, introducing a veggie. The cream's probably full of calcium.
There was something else, some sort of herb mixed in it, because I had some of it.
Yeah, and you were like, yum.
Yeah, there was some sort of herb mixed in as well, for sure.
And that's great. You've introduced flavour. So flavour's really important to introduce in meals, because it helps foster a varied palate. So a lot of children will go on to their toddler years if they haven't been exposed to flavour, and that's through herbs, it could be through lemon, it could be through garlic. They're all flavour, and they all add another level to the meal. So when we're introducing children to flavour, we really help foster that varied palate, and also help reduce the risk of fussy eaters as they go on to toddlerhood.
The citrus one, because I was talking about the Simply Organic oranges. The actual quality of the juice coming out of the orange, it took me back to my childhood. It actually took me back to my grandfather, my kōrero, growing tangelos and things. And actually, when we lived in the Middle East, the quality, I used to kick off about the quality of the fruit because it's all brought in. But I've actually come to New Zealand and never realised, again, actually that's what's in majority of supermarkets. And then when we tried that, but seeing the kids that and just sucking the juice out of the orange, it actually was strangely fulfilling for me. Because as a kid, that was like, that's how you ate it. You like sucked all the juice and then finished off the flesh. And I think about my rugby days as a kid. At halftime, we all got oranges. We were probably more excited to get the oranges at halftime. Than we were at actually playing the game in the cold. But those fruits, there's such a what would you suggest for families around introducing new fruits? Do you partner it with something they've already got that they know is going to win? Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Or what would you do, like feijoas and feijoa season and tamarillos, all that stuff? How would you do that?
I always encourage my clients to, it's really good to focus on fruits and vegetables that are in season. Because as you say, there's a lot of imported fruit and vegetables, right? So when we can just respect that, we're in the season of feijoas, so let's offer feijoas. Or we're in the season of mandarin, let's offer these to our baby. And I think when it comes to fruit and veg, going back to the organic point, there is a lot of pressure to offer your child organic fruit and veg. Like we know the benefits of consuming food that is organic, but it's not doable for a lot of families. And I can appreciate that can be quite costly for your average family. So there is something called the Dirty Dozen and Clean 15. So it's published by the Environmental Working Group, and it's basically a list that tells you the 12, so the Dirty Dozen refers to the 12 most heavily sprayed fruits and vegetables. So these are the fruits, there's 12 of them, and even that's a lot to... I'm
thinking exported apples, pears, kiwi fruit.
But they're heavily sprayed, right? They'd be heavily sprayed. So there is a procedure that I like to recommend to my clients. If you can't buy organic, you would just do a process. It's not enough to just rinse your fruit and veg either. So there's a process that I like to encourage my clients to do where you soak them in water and baking soda. That's it. A tablespoon of baking soda with some water in a big glass bowl or in your sink. That's what I do. I chuck all my produce in my sink. It's baking soda and a splash of apple cider vinegar. And I think the studies that show that it can kill up to 80% of pesticides and chemicals. So it can remove. So that's just a healthier or easier and cost-effective alternative to reducing pesticide exposure.
It's better than nothing.
Better than nothing. And it's there are a few fruit and veg that I, non-negotiable, will buy organic, but I can't do that with all of those 12 Dirty Dozen. It's just not feasible. Yeah,
well, I'm going to look that up myself. Because, again, the reason we went with Simply Organic is because Christian, who's the owner, the guy's passion about organic food was second to none. And obviously with like we talked about when you came in, like sickness right now is through. And I'll say it, like post-COVID, boom, it went like that. It just... Did it show how filthy we were as people? I don't know. But but the sickness has just gone berserk. And what we wanted to do for families is actually almost take majority of that burden away around this fruit and veggie. Like the organic meat's a whole nother level.
Yes.
It's like basically double plus the price, and we'd love to get to that phase, but the fruit and veggie for us is really important. When we're talking about that you were talking about the baking soda and that thing, and you're talking about 80%. What, over time, in your experience, would you think would be happening if we continually are pumping in horrible stuff through kids? Because we're talking about behaviour.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know it's hard to find a lot of research, tied to it.
Yeah.
Me being ADHD myself, I am conscious of foods.
Yeah.
Especially dyes, and I love tomato sauce, but it does hype me up a bit. What's your experience in that? Because we do have a lot of neurodiversity in that space.
I mean, behaviour, there could be a number of reasons why
Yes,
behaviour, there could be generational stuff.
Yep.
It could be quite a number of things. It could be poor sleep. It could be environmental factors. But food, there is no denying that food plays a very important, pivotal role in your child's behaviour. I mean, I will personally notice that when my child will have some tiny teddies after swim lessons, or, we'll have some sugar, like their mood isn't what I'm used to, or isn't just what I'm used to navigating, because they are in a state of sugars have elevated, blood sugar levels have elevated, energy levels have spiked, and then they're crashing. They're crashing and they're behaving in an erratic, irrational way. But at the end of the day, they're still children. They're still children,
Yes,
and they're
and
working
cognitively
through
as well.
big
Yeah.
emotions or whatever it could be triggering them. But I think we know our children will be exposed to years and years of, if you want to call it toxins or environmental factors or sugar or things like that. And our role is we can't protect them. We can't protect them from all, but we can try our best to limit that exposure.
Yes, and it's like take feijoas at the moment. It's they're I mean, I've always grown up having feijoas everywhere. You can literally, like Hertford Ave, there's a massive bunch, huge, just bushes and bushes of them along by the playground. And Gordon Spratt, the same. It's just heaps of them. One of our team at Terrace View, her dad has massive persimmon trees. I love persimmon.
Yeah.
It's just available. But I think the key point here when we're talking about food and behaviours is you've got to, if you realise it's unusual behaviours or behaviours you're not used to seeing, I always start to look back at food as an important step.
What did they
as a
eat?
very important step, and it allows us to. We do that as well. Like I know we're very picky on what's going into kids at certain points of the day, especially going into the afternoon, because you're asking for trouble to load them up at 2:30 with something high jams and all sorts of.
That's exactly
just
right.
Really, you're
This is
asking
why
for trouble.
after school snacks are really important, to make them at least balanced. So when I say balanced, just to aim for something that contains a protein, a healthy fat, and a carbohydrate. So what we typically do is go straight for a carbohydrate-rich food, and carbohydrate-rich foods are great. However, they will spike. They're known to provide energy, so they'll spike your child's energy levels, and then they'll just come crashing down. So if we pair it with a healthy fat and a protein, they are generally will respond better in terms of blood sugar.
100%. 100%, yeah. And it is those times, again, when I know, and we're being realistic here, we're making sure that whānau, obviously, when they're busy, they do have to make choices, but you just got to try, I think you got to try to always win the maths, try and win the maths. That's why we say about the 75% of meals.
That's a huge percent.
It's massive.
Yeah.
And it's a big responsibility on us.
Yeah.
We take that very seriously. We have to talk to people about children and how they're going and how they're behaving. And if we're pumping crap into them, mate, it's all on us.
Yeah.
Not. Unfortunately, I've heard horror stories of what people serve kids in childcare, because they're like, we serve food, but it's just crap.
Yeah.
And we have got Takia, who we're actually catching up with shortly, but Takia oversees and supports our chefs. So we've actually got qualified, like Sam's sister Ashley, she's come out of the Navy and things like that. Like Nicole's very experienced, all that sort of thing. Sylvia, very experienced, proper culinary training, things like that. And then we've got a support network around that to make sure that we can bounce ideas and talk through what it looks like because if we can help families feel like we're meeting majority of the need and helping them win the maths, then we're all going to win.
Yep.
We're
I
all
agree.
going to win.
Yeah. I think it does come down to when you know more, you do better. And I guess you do the best you can with the knowledge you know. This is why information and knowledge is power, because you're able to make those informed and better decisions. So take, for example, most children love beige food, right? Take your pasta, your creamy pasta. There are so many ways, and this is where I like to help families, is to increase the nutrients of what we're offering there. So perhaps we could add some egg yolk into that pasta as it's cooking to add some protein and healthy fats. Perhaps we could add, we could grate some vegetables into it, or we could turn that sauce into, add some bone broth and some freeze-dried liver to help increase those other essential nutrients. So there are things that we can do away from daycare, where amazingly 75% of their meals are eaten there. What we can do, we can take that home and still build on that, but also not feel the pressure to make sure every meal is perfect. Like we have this need as a parent to make sure that they're fulfilling so many nutrient requirements in one meal, because we're told that every mouthful matters, but it's all about exploration and determining that relationship with food, which is so key.
Absolutely.
And I think that gets often overlooked, because it's really important. There's this saying that says food before one is just for fun, and I kind of agree and disagree with this comment, because I do believe food plays a very pivotal role in meeting those nutrient requirements a child needs, especially with iron. A baby requires more iron than an average adult male between the ages of 6 to 12 months. So that's why those iron-rich foods, and
That's
not
a big
just,
step.
it's huge. So between 6 to 12 months. So meat obviously is a beautiful source of iron, your iron. But there are so many plant-based sources of food as well, so that we can integrate into diet, your lentils, your quinoa, your spinach.
Wow, that's actually a very big step.
Yeah, so this is why it's really one of my first foods I always recommend to clients is liver. Incredibly nutrient rich, and you can offer liver in so many different forms. You can buy it fresh and then pan fry it in some olive oil and garlic, for example. You'd be surprised. I was working with a client and she sent me a video of her baby eating liver for the first time, and he was the biggest fan of it, and he just could not get enough of it.
And liver's not a cost thing, mate.
No.
Don't tell me liver's expensive.
No, it's quite cheap.
That's why I grew up eating liver and kidney.
I know, we grew up eating that.
Yeah, we did.
I look at it now and I'm like, I can't do it. But our children, they love it. And this is why it's so important to expose them to those flavours that feel quite bold and intense to us, like your sauerkraut, your liver, your sardines. Like foods that are quite bold and intense in flavour will help foster a varied palate as well. But really important, the food, going back to food before one is just for fun. Other than supporting those key essential nutrients, food is there for a child to build that relationship with.
Yes.
It's there for them to explore, engage, like smell the food, taste the food, feel the food, different textures. It's all part of the process. So this is why food before one is just for fun, has that kind of connotation to it, that it is there for fun, and it's also there for the fun for the parents. Like it should be enjoyed.
Yes.
But there's so much fear and so much anxiety when it comes to starting solids.
Yeah, I think that is one trend we're seeing, and we really want to help our parents in that space. Obviously, there's a choking thing, and we're doing some stuff around that ourselves as well. We take that part very seriously, but we've got to help. And so for us as well, there's a lot of research showing that starting to chew it helps speech and language therapy. It's obviously breastfeeding and the suckling helps strengthen, and then chewing is also part of, and using your tongue. There's a lot of correlation between that and speech, but also again, it's just that builds courage in them to have a go. Like I can't ever understand the anxieties that individuals are going through, but we just want to provide a platform to be able to seek some support, but also just know that we're doing our best in that space to support them to win. So, well, the last thing before we wrap up, I just want to bring up was about this quote that I loved on your website. When a baby is born, so too is a mother, and they both need to be nurtured. Can you just talk us, because it's such a beautiful quote, can you just talk us through that, because it's a very powerful quote.
I love it too. It's beautiful. I remember the first time I read that, it really moved me. And I think at the end of the day, when a baby is born, so too is a mother. And I think we forget that, you're entering a new person. You're a new version of yourself when you become a mother, and there's so much attention and focus on the baby when it's born that we neglect the mother. And essentially the mother has just entered a new phase of her motherhood journey, and this is a time and it's a beautiful sacred place where a mother should be nurtured, and nurturing could look like a whole different way for different people. But food's a beautiful way to nurture. Support, rest, recovery, giving birth is one of the biggest and sometimes traumatic event that someone can go through. Not just for mother, but for baby as well. It's actually, I think it's dubbed as the most traumatic thing you'll go through in your lifetime. When you're coming down the birth canal or being, whether that's a cesarean as well. So I think that quote, just wrapping that up, is it just means that the mum is also part of the equation. And there are so many things we can do to nurture the mother, and to just remember that we celebrate a baby, and like when we bring a gift to someone who's had a baby, it's for the baby. And how about something for the mother? Because or one of the first things I say when someone announces their pregnancy or announces their birth, and they're like, introducing our beautiful bundle of joy, we are smitten with love. The first thing I say is, well done, mama, because she has just gone through something incredible and she's brought life into the world. So I always just say, congratulations, mama. Well done, you. You are amazing. And then bundle of joy is perfect. But yeah, I just think it's just a nice reminder that mums need to be remembered and considered in this situation, because far too often we're just neglected, and just a simple, how are you? What can I do for you today? Your day 3 postpartum.
Would you like me to take the baby so you can have a sleep?
Yes. Let me take the bins out for you. Like the mental load on a mother is just mental. It's so long.
No, you're absolutely right. Well, mate, so Fiona runs courses and she's running one shortly. So let's talk to us about that and the dates, and June 6th.
June 6th, yep.
And then we'll talk to that, and then we'll talk about that further. But what's going on then?
So I'm hosting a Starting Solids workshop. It's coming up in June, so June 6th. It's a 9:30 a.m. It's about an hour and a half class, and I basically go through information for parents as they're about to start solids. So understanding those signs of readiness, introducing allergens, recognizing those important nutrients and the best food sources. We touch on choking and gagging and how to keep babies safe at mealtime. So it's just a great way for parents to arm themselves with that information to make those informed and better decisions as they're starting solids. So there are a lot of questions when it comes to starting solids. So yeah, it's a great session. It's an interactive session. It's, we cover the basics essentially and everything you need to know to get you started, but also it's everything you need to know. So if you've got questions, we cover what you specifically want to know. So a lot of the questions are very specific to, choking and how to keep babies safe, or like, how do I make sure that baby is eating enough, or like, how do I balance milk versus meals when I'm starting solids, and constipation. My baby's constipated now that I've introduced solids, which is very common. What can I do? So there's a lot of those questions that we go into further as well.
We're obviously a massive resource, Fiona, and again, we want to thank you for reaching out to us. Your Mother Nurtured Instagram page is there, and obviously links to websites and things, and we'll put some of that stuff in. But we're really looking forward. We'd love to open it up to host at one of the future focuses as well, because I just think the value you bring in that space, and for us, it's another voice of reason, another voice of support. We again, you've already touched on it. Mums have a very tough job. They're superhumans, and we need to make sure that we're putting into those. Again, it's just creating. We've always been about it. So creating access is the real key to anything. You want people to be turning down opportunities than not knowing where to go or what to do. And mums and dads, they don't have to battle away Googling everything and YouTubing and being terrified, when they can actually come and catch up with someone with your level of expertise in a space that's really important. So we're really appreciative of your time. We look forward to in the future hosting something for within Future Focus, because I know it'll be of huge value.
I would love that.
We're just so stoked to have built this relationship.
Thank you so
thank you very much, Fiona. Awesome.
Thank you for having me.
Awesome.